DeWalt Tools on the inside there with Michael Hansen in the first lap. And on the outside, it is Jimmy King in Miss Exide.
Both running pretty close together throughout this heat. The water conditions are still pretty decent shape.
Last lap now that we're looking at here in the restart of 2B. Mike Hansen with the Madison, Indiana municipally, 13,000 folks there own the boat. And DeWalt Tools will get an unexpected first place in Heat 2B as we see the checkered flag there on the left. DeWalt Tools wins it and has a total of 700 points after the first two heats, having come in second in the first time around. Then Miss Exide, Smokin' Joe's Miss Bud out, and we'll be back. Back to the APBA Gold Cup in Detroit, Michigan, where the hold has now been lifted. Let's go down to the pits and see what's happening there.
All right, down here in the pits, we're at the DeWalt Tools. They're trying to contact their driver by radio phone. He hasn't answered them about the water conditions as they come down to start the race. Let's go to Steve Montgomery, see if he has any info.
John, we talked to every driver in the pits in the last half hour. It was unanimous they wanted to go racing. It may be raceable. We're about to find out.
Indeed, we are counting down toward the clock start for this now Heat 3A. There will be a Heat 3B, shortened in each case to 3 laps. We have, in fact, only 3 boats in this race: Miss Wellness Plan, Pico American Dream, and DeWalt Tools.
Pico American Dream is on the inside. DeWalt Tools is on the outside. Ken Dryden and the Miss Wellness Plan in the middle. There's our start.
As we look from the Labatt's eye in the sky, you can see Dave Villwock moving ahead on the inside lane in Pico's American Dream. He'd be the favorite. He is the co-leader in points so far. And if we are not able to run a final after these 2 heats, then the point leader at that juncture will be declared the winner of the Gold Cup this year, as we look now toward the Belle Isle Bridge and into the backstretch.
You can see the water conditions are extremely rough. The spray is bouncing over the bows of the boats. They're very cautious going through that Belle Isle turn, coming down the backstretch now where they can really get to smoother water. That's DeWalt Tools coming up the backstretch by the Detroit Yacht Club. Pico American Dream still in the lead. DeWalt Tools going through the Rooster Tail turn. There's our leader now, Dave Villwock in Pico American Dream.
And it's dancing back and forth from sponsor to sponsor, but Dave appears to have it well under control. The wind really howling up here.
Dave Villwock coming down the front straightaway now, heading back toward the Belle Isle turn. The swells down there by that Belle Isle turn have got to be really treacherous.
As I alluded to just a moment ago, the winner of this heat could very well wind up being the entire winner of the Gold Cup this year. They came in tied, Mike Hansen and Dave Villwock did, with 700 points for the first 2 heats. If they can't run a final, then the winner of this heat, in all likelihood, would be the high point getter.
Mike Hansen on the outside again, looking for better water. They're coming down the Belle Isle backstretch toward the Detroit Yacht Club. Dave Villwock still in a commanding lead, very comfortable lead. The water conditions are very reminiscent of the final heat of the 1976 Gold Cup here in Detroit.
And you'll remember last year, as you saw on the screen just a moment ago, Mike Hansen flipped last year, so he's got to be mighty careful. Ooh, a little light there.
That's Ken Dryden in
the Wellness Plan. And Ken, of course, stepped up to replace Mark Evans, who's going to be driving the Miss Budweiser in our next heat. Ken was available, had qualified as a backup driver, and got himself the ride. Here's Dave Villwock.
Dave Villwock's got his boat trimmed very conservatively. You can see he's riding nice and level. Little bounce up there going through the turn there at the Belle Isle turn, but comfortable lead.
138 miles an hour in that lap.
Well, the water conditions reflect that speed. If the water was a lot smoother, the speeds would be probably 20 mile an hour faster.
20 years ago, you won the Gold Cup in a piston engine, Miss US, Tom, in these kind of conditions.
That's exactly right, and I know what they're going through down there at that Belle Isle turn. There's a lot of ground swells and big rollers down there. The driver just isn't looking forward to getting down there.
So he is certainly looking forward to getting to that checkered flag.
Dave Villwock now in the final turn, the Rooster Tail turn, coming around for the checkered flag. I'm sure he's glad this one will be over, but there's our checkered flag waving. Dave Villwock, our winner.
Pico's American Dream, so he now is going to have 1,100 points as we wait to see if indeed there will be a final. There will not be a Heat 4A and 4B. This is going to be it as far as the heats. Dave Villwock in the U100. 6'6" Dave. And we'll be back with more action from the APPA Gold Cup in Detroit in just a moment. Set up the boats for you in this heat. You have Jimmy King driving Miss X side, which is the high point getter coming into here with 525. Miss DOC AccuView, Steve David at the wheel. Miss Budweiser, Mark Evans now stepping up to replace Chip Hanauer, who was too stiff and sore after the wreck yesterday to drive. And Mark's brother Mitch driving the piston-powered Rooster Tail, the U3. Heading down toward the clock start, dicing, as we say, getting set, trying to get the positions.
They're a little bit early on this start. All of them a little bit anxious. The water conditions are going to, change their timing marks a little bit when they run to the clock.
We saw Bernie Little, Miss Budweiser owner there, looking on. A little bit anxious, no doubt, with the new driver in the boat. He is the defending champion here, the Budweiser is.
They're way early. Stephen David is on the inside. We've got Jimmy King next to him, the Budweiser, and then Mitch Evans. And all the boats are way early for the start. You can see this is going to be a slow start. A drag start.
There is the start. A drag start indeed. If they had brakes, they would have put them on, Tom, but here we go.
Budweiser actually accelerated away from the rest of the field. Stephen David on the inside lane, though, with a better course position.
From the Labatt Eye in the sky, we take a look at Mark Evans on the outside, trying to get around Stephen David on the inside. Hasn't opened up quite enough room yet as they go around the Belle Isle turn.
Mark seems to be running a very nice line through that turn. A little cautious, first time in the boat this year. And he's confident, I'm sure, in the amount of power that Miss Budweiser has on board. And Stephen, though, is giving him all he can have.
But because of the delay all day long because of the high winds here, Mark Evans, as we see, has not been able to drive the boat until now.
And it looks like his first lap in competition in the Miss Budweiser, he's going to lead it. We've got Stephen David charging really hard on the inside, and the Miss DOC pulling right up alongside the Miss Budweiser, making a great race out of it.
Whipping around the Rooster Tail turn. From that angle, for a moment, it appeared that Mark was starting to open up a little bit over Stephen David. You would expect the Miss Budweiser would be able to do that. Mark Evans drove the Miss Bud on a couple of occasions last year when Chip Hanauer was not up to it. Each time, the Miss Bud broke up on him.
Yeah, but he's got it running beautiful right now, and the Budweiser's not breaking up at all.
Going very nicely around the Belle Isle Bridge turn one here on this 2.5-mile course. Again, only 3 laps in this Heat 3B. Ordinarily at this point, there would be 5 laps, but we had the delay. We've got to save some time. Let's check in with Jim Hendrick in the pits. Jim.
We've just learned from the UHRA that the Budweiser will receive a $100 penalty for changing lanes. Luckily, they didn't get a 1-lap penalty, so they're still in the lead. John?
And Mark Evans indicating Jimmy certainly intends to hang on to that lead for the Miss Budweiser. If he knew about the fine, I don't think it would shake him very much at all.
I'm sure that Mark Evans will gladly pay that $100 to get this first place. We're on our white flag lap. This is the last lap.
As we look from the Labatt Eye in the sky, you can see the big lead now that Mark Evans has opened over Stephen David and Miss DOC AccuView.
Last time up the backstretch in the Belle Isle side, Budweiser running beautifully. You know, you got to give credit to the crew for putting that boat back together again after that horrific flip. And it looks like they haven't missed a thing. It's running beautifully.
Mark Evans getting set to wrap up this heat, it would appear, for the Budweiser team. Nicely around the Rooster Tail turn.
Here's our checkered flag.
There's the checkered flag as we look at the lap speed, the Zodiac lap speed at 147 miles an hour for Miss Budweiser, which takes the checkered flag and wins Heat 3B with Mark Evans, a very nice first drive in the boat in 1996. We'll be back with more action from the APPA Gold Cup Unlimited Hydroplane races in Detroit in a moment.